When I accidentally saw the pregnancy test in my girlfriend's purse, my blood ran cold. Because she'd always told me that sex could lead to cervical cancer, she'd always refused me. But now, she was pregnant. My girlfriend, Chloe, was in such a hurry when she left that she forgot her purse. I was about to run it down to her when I tripped while putting on my shoes, sending the purse flying. A small plastic stick with 2 red lines landed at my feet. The moment I realized what it was, I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. My stomach churned. From the day we got together, Chloe had told me a story about her distant cousin who died of cervical cancer. She was terrified. She'd heard that avoiding sex was the only way to be safe, so she'd always push me away. I felt for her, believing she was traumatized by it. I respected her boundaries, loved her, and hoped that after we got married, I could slowly help her overcome her fears. I never expected she'd hit me with a surprise like this. She was pregnant. Whose kid was it? I thought back to a moment ago, how flustered she was coming out of the bathroom. She was probably rushing off to see the baby's father. She'd realized she forgot her purse soon and would be back. Forcing down the rage boiling in my chest, I quickly gathered the scattered items and placed the pregnancy test right on top before setting the purse back where it was, as if nothing had happened. For 3 years, I had treated her like a queen, giving her everything she asked for. I even bent over backward to satisfy the endless demands of her parents and her younger brother. I never pressured her about sex. Our intimacy was limited to holding hands and kissing her forehead. I gave her my whole heart, and this is how she repaid me? I wasn't going to let her off with a simple breakup. I was going to make her pay. With that thought, I hurried to the bedroom and grabbed the micro recorder I used for work. I switched it on and slipped it into the inner pocket of her purse. Sure enough, just as I sat back down on the couch, I heard the key turn in the lock. Chloe's face was pale, and a fine sheen of sweat covered her forehead. "Hey, where'd you go? You don't look so good." Her eyes darted to the purse, still sitting in its original spot. Seeing my calm expression, she let out a long sigh of relief. I saw my period and realized I was out of pads. I was on a run to the store, but I forgot my purse. Confident her secret was safe, she quickly composed herself, lying to my face without batting an eye. I had to resist the overwhelming urge to slap her for that Oscar-worthy performance. Instead, I feigned concern. "You silly girl, you should have just asked me. I would have gone for you. You shouldn't be rushing around like that during your period." With that, I grabbed my keys and left. I needed time to cool off and figure out how to get my revenge. For 3 years, I made sure she never had to work a day. She never did any chores at home. I even hand-washed her underwear after I got home from my job. She spent her days shopping, having lunch, and getting her nails done with her friends. Her good-for-nothing brother didn't have a job, so I arranged one for him, a cushy gig with full benefits, paying $75,000 a year for him to file 2 reports a day. He lasted 2 days before quitting, complaining it was too much work. Then he stormed into my apartment and screamed at me, saying I was messing with him by giving him a garbage job while I was pulling in a 7-figure salary. Not wanting Chloe to be caught in the middle, I calmed him down and promised to give him $10,000 a month in spending money. Only then was the matter settled. Thinking back on it now, was there a bigger sucker in the world than me? I drove aimlessly, trying to figure out how to make that family spit back every penny they'd taken from me. That's when I saw a newly opened luxury condo building with a massive billboard advertising 0 down payment. An idea began to form. Just then my phone rang. It was Chloe. "Honey, you've been gone for so long. Is everything okay at work?" Chloe's voice was light and cheerful. She must have used the time I was gone to strategize with the baby's father. But ever since I discovered her secret, the sound of her sweet voice just made me sick to my stomach. "Hey, babe. Yeah, something came up. Don't worry, I'm heading back now." Perfect timing. I could go back and retrieve the recorder and find out who this mystery man was. While I walked through the door, Chloe was acting completely out of character. She was wearing a sexy, leopard print slip dress I'd never seen before, and she draped herself over me like a cat. "Honey, do you like my new outfit?" I subtly pushed her away, stopping her little performance. I handed her the bag with the pads I'd bought. Only then did she seem to remember her excuse about being on her period. Her expression faltered for a second before she took the bag and disappeared into the bathroom. I seized the opportunity to pull the recorder from her purse. "I've got some work to finish in the study. I'll be with you in a bit," I called out toward the bathroom door, then went into my study and locked it behind me. I often locked the door when I worked, so she wouldn't think anything of it if she tried to open it. I connected my wireless earbuds and played the recording. It didn't take long to understand what Chloe had been up to. First, I heard her leaving the apartment, then the sound of her getting into a cab. I clearly heard the address she gave, the Kensington Arms, Building 4. The name sounded fancy, but it was a rundown, 20-year-old complex. I couldn't believe her lover lived in a place like that. Soon, I heard Chloe's voice, cooing honey to someone. "Babe, what's wrong? Why the sudden visit?" The man's voice was vaguely familiar, but I couldn't place it right away. "Honey, I'm pregnant. What are we going to do? I want to break up with Ethan. Let's get married." After a brief silence, the man's voice returned, smooth and reassuring. "Babe, are you crazy? You being pregnant is perfect. We'll let that chump raise our kid for us. He's rich. Our son can inherit his fortune one day." Chloe replied, "But I've been saving myself for you. I've never even been with him." The man said, "That's easy. Just go home and suck it up for one night. Do him a favor. When a baby's born, you can just say it was premature. Listen to me, babe. If he has a little accident down the road, all his money will be ours." Chloe giggled. "You're so smart, honey. I'll listen to you. I'll go back and just hold my nose. It'll be like getting bitten by a dog." My vision went black with rage. I nearly passed out. Those two cheating dogs weren't just making a fool of me. They wanted me to raise their bastard child, steal my money, and were wishing me dead. I was going to make sure that bastard got what was coming to him. I listened to the man's voice again, and a name clicked in my head. It was Mark Jennings, Chloe's former boss. He'd taken us out to dinner once, right after Chloe and I started dating. I immediately called my best friend, who runs a private investigation agency, and asked him to dig up everything he could on those two. Just as I hung up, Chloe started knocking on the study door. "Honey, are you done with work yet?" I forced myself to calm down, burying the hatred deep inside. When I opened the door, the look on my face must have startled her. "Honey, what's wrong?" "It's nothing, babe. Just a problem at work. But listen, I have some great news to tell you." "I have some great news to tell you too," Chloe and I said at the same time. She giggled and told me to go first. "Babe, you go first. I wanted to see what other tricks this woman had up her sleeve." "Honey, I want to marry you. You know, yesterday I was visiting my cousin's new baby, and he was so sweet and soft. It made me realize I want a baby of our own, with you." Even though I knew it was all part of her plan to trap me, I feigned ecstatic excitement, picking her up and spinning her around the living room. "Really, babe? You have no idea how long I've waited to hear you say that. I'm finally going to make you my wife." The spinning made her face turn pale, but she couldn't complain. She just clutched her stomach carefully as I set her down on the couch, then asked me what my good news was. "Babe, I saw a new condo development today. It's a high-end, luxury building with fully furnished units. All the rich people live there, and the schools in the area are top-notch. I was already planning to propose, and I wanted to buy you a place, in your name only, as a gift." Chloe looked deeply moved. She wrapped her arms around mine, pressing her chest against me and asking over and over if I was serious. Watching this woman, who usually acted like such a pure, innocent flower, pull out all the stops to lure me into her trap, I realized just how blind I'd been for the past 3 years. "Babe, I'm not just buying a place for you. Your brother Cody needs a place for when he gets married, right? I've got the extra cash, so I was thinking of getting him a condo in the same building. A bigger one, so he can have your parents move in with him eventually." Chloe was so thrilled she nearly offered herself to me right then and there. If I hadn't reminded her that she was on her period, she would have started taking my pants off. Panicked, I told her to call her parents immediately and tell them we'd go look at the properties tomorrow. That was all it took for her to jump up and race to the phone. When her parents got the call, they couldn't believe their luck. Her brother, Cody, was practically shouting into the phone that he wanted to bow down to me. After she hung up, I pulled her back down to the couch. "Babe, I was also thinking about getting you a car. After we're married, you could drive your friend around when you go shopping. I took a look at my assets, and right now, I have enough to buy one of the smaller condos outright with cash. But my salary is in the 7 figures, and I'm up for promotion and a raise soon. If we take out a mortgage, we can get everything at once, both condos and the car, and the payments will be no problem at all. What do you think? Pay cash for one now, or get everything with a loan?" Chloe hesitated, clearly not keen on taking on a massive amount of debt. But she'd already called her family. They favored her brother above all else. If her parents found out Cody wasn't getting his condo, they would skin her alive. Honey, wouldn't the loans be too much? Babe, the monthly payments would only be a few tens of thousands. After 3 years of payments, my savings would still leave me with over $1 million to give you as an engagement gift. You could do whatever you want with that money. I won't ask any questions. You know how much I love you. Don't you trust me? She must have thought about how I'd never once denied her anything in 3 years. Chloe gritted her teeth and finally made a decision. Okay, honey, let's do the loans. I'm just worried about you being under so much pressure. Babe, you know what I'm capable of. Wait till next month when I get that promotion. I'll buy you a few new designer bags, too. That seemed to erase any remaining doubts. The moment I went back into the study, she was on the phone, excitedly reporting the good news to her secret lover. At the same time, I got a message from my friend. The P.I. Work was already done. The man living at the Kensington Arms was, indeed, Mark Jennings. I looked at the profile information on my phone and couldn't help but laugh out loud. The next day, I took Chloe's parents and Cody to a fancy restaurant for lunch. When I mentioned I'd be willing to help pay for Cody's future wedding expenses, their satisfaction with me shot up to 200%. On the way to the sales office, Cody kept lecturing Chloe on how she needed to serve me well after they got married and never make me angry, or he'd personally deal with her. Lost at her joy, Chloe just smiled and nodded at everything he said, completely missing the serious look in his eyes. Wow, this really is a luxury building. Even the sales office is sparkling with gold. Chloe's mother was like a country bumpkin in the big city, marveling at everything. Her loud voice quickly attracted the attention of a sales agent. Mom, keep your voice down, Chloe hissed. Her mother rolled her eyes, annoyed. What? I'm here to buy a house. Can I even talk? My son-in-law is a big shot. We're buying 2 units today, in cash. You'd better bring us some fruit and tea right now. Don't you know the customer is always right? The sales agent's initial irritation vanished when he heard buying 2 units. His face broke into an exaggerated smile as he rushed over with a large tray of fruit. Ma'am, you said you're interested in 2 units? Allow me to show you the floor plans. Just as her mother was about to puff out her chest and speak, Cody nudged her. Mom, you don't know anything. Let my brother-in-law choose. He shot me a wink. Cody, here's what I'm thinking. Your sister and I will take a smaller unit. You'll be living with your parents, so you'll need at least a 3,000 square foot single-level condo. Do you think that's big enough? Cody's eyes widened, and his jaw dropped. He was too stunned to speak, just nodding his head like a bobblehead doll. Once the floor plans were selected, I told the agent to draw up the contracts. I wanted to sign the papers on the spot. The agent looked at me with awe, but his expression soured when he realized it was a 0 down payment deal and that neither property was in my name. While Cody and Chloe were signing, he pulled me aside. Hey man, are you a new agent here? This sale has to be mine. At least give me one of them. I smiled and told him he could have the commission for both. The grin returned to his face. He even transferred half of his commission to me as a thank you, asking me to send more clients his way. I glanced at the amount. Damn, it was almost as much as the salary I'd been paying Cody for the past year. Cody and his parents moved into their new condo immediately. I suggested to Chloe that we move into ours as well, but she kept making excuses, telling me to focus on work while she aired out the new place to get rid of the new paint smell. She had no idea I had installed several hidden cameras in the living room, bedroom, and by the front door of her new condo. Every day, I watched on my phone as Chloe pranced around her new home, drunk on her good fortune. Finally, in the second week, she couldn't hold out any longer and invited Mark Jennings over. Mark acted like he owned the place, ordering Chloe around to cut him fruit and even wash his feet. I watched as Chloe, the woman who never even flushed the toilet at our place, waited on him hand and foot. It just goes to show, you can't overfeed a dog. She had no self-respect. Soon after his foot bath, Mark started getting handsy. What Chloe did next shocked me even more. She went into the bathroom and came out wearing a piece of trashy lingerie, proceeding to perform a series of provocative moves for him. Anyone watching would think she'd worked in a very different profession. The scene quickly turned into a live porno. Fighting back my disgust, I screen-recorded dozens of their positions, then sent the clips along with the address and a taunting message to Mark Jennings's wife. That's right. My friend found out Mark was married. His position at Chloe's old company was thanks to his father-in-law's help, which meant he was terrified of his wife. I was about to drive over to watch the fireworks when I got a text from Cody. Hey bro, when are you sending this month's allowance? He even added a goofy emoji. I replied directly, I'm on my way to the new condo now. Wait for me at our place. Your sister's there. Since Cody was on his way, I was in no hurry. I parked near the building and sat in a gazebo downstairs, enjoying the show on my phone. I had to admit, those two were creative, especially Chloe. She knew every trick in the book. It was so pathetic it made me laugh. About 20 minutes later, there was a loud banging on the door. Mark's wife had arrived with a whole crew to catch him in the act. Mark must have recognized his wife's voice. He scrambled to push Chloe off him, not caring if the pregnant woman hit the floor hard. He was about to hide his naked ass in a closet or under the bed, but realizing those spots were too obvious, he looked at the window, which didn't have a screen yet. In a moment of panic, he climbed out and clung to the exterior ledge. He forgot it was broad daylight, and, as fate would have it, just as he got his bare ass situated, Cody appeared on the street below. What the hell? What are you doing? Get your ass back inside. This is the 6th floor, you motherfucker. If you fall and die, you'll tank our property values. Cody didn't realize the man was dangling from his sister's window. He was just worried about his real estate investment. His shouting, however, drew a crowd. People who hadn't noticed before now gathered around, and some of the bolder ones started taking pictures of Mark's bare rear end. With no other choice, Mark climbed back in the bedroom, only to come face to face with his wife's enraged, distorted expression. Honey, listen to me. It's a misunderstanding. Down below, we could all hear Mark's blood-curdling screams. Cody, who had been enjoying the spectacle, finally realized the man had come from Chloe's apartment. Without a second thought, he bolted for the elevator. I watched the camera feed as Chloe opened the door and was immediately met with a hard slap across the face from Mark's wife. Apparently, she had wanted to call the police initially, but Mark had stopped her, afraid of a bigger scandal. The people Mark's wife brought with her pinned them both to the floor and started beating them. Chloe's cheap lingerie was torn to shreds, and she was powerless to fight back. Thankfully, Cody got there quickly. The scene in the room stunned him. Cody, help me. Chloe's desperate cry snapped him back to reality. With a roar, he pulled the people off of his sister. But when he saw the state she was in, he slapped her twice himself. You bitch, Chloe. How dare you cheat on my brother-in-law? I'll kill you, you shameless whore. Cody didn't disappoint. He hit her even harder than Mark's wife had. While everyone was stunned, Mark slipped out the door. His wife and her crew immediately chased after him. The show was pretty much over. I sent Cody a text telling him I was almost there. He called me back, his voice trembling with panic. Bro, I just signed up for a tour group. I'm taking my sister on a little trip for a couple of days. You don't need to come over. I've got enough money. When you get some time off, I'll treat you to a vacation. Haha, Cody, you're really growing up. I'm so proud of you. Okay, well, I have cash on me. Otherwise, I just transfer it to you. Don't be afraid to spend money out there. If you need anything, just ask your sister, and I'll reimburse you when you get back. Cody mumbled a few more things, relieved to hear I wasn't coming to the condo anymore, and quickly hung up. He probably thought he was being clever. But what kind of tour group leaves in the middle of the night? He was just afraid I'd see his sister's battered face, break up with her, and cut off his cash flow for good. I didn't see Chloe for a whole week, but the cameras showed she never left the new condo. I had to admire her constitution. After that marathon session with Mark and the brutal beating she took, the baby was somehow still hanging on. She was really something else. My friend gave me an update on Mark. He wasn't so lucky. His father-in-law's family gave him another beating when he got home, and he ended up in the hospital. I thought that with Mark out of the picture and her face looking like a smashed pumpkin, Chloe would finally lie low. But she was on her phone every day. After sending me her good morning, good afternoon, and good night texts, she would chat with someone else, giggling like a fool. My gut told me it was another man because she was always changing into sexy, revealing outfits, and posing for the phone. My friend confirmed Mark was under heavy surveillance by his wife, who had confiscated his phone. It seemed Chloe had already found a replacement. I wasn't about to let her have such a relaxing time. I called Cody and asked when they were coming back because I wanted to propose to his sister. Cody was thrilled at first, but after a moment's hesitation, he said they'd be gone for a few more days. He had spent the entire week drinking with his deadbeat friends in his new condo and had no idea how his sister's injuries were healing. A few minutes after we hung up, Cody appeared at Chloe's door. She opened it with an expectant look on her face, but when she saw it was her brother, she quickly crossed her arms to cover her revealing top. Seeing her dressed like that, Cody immediately understood. He assumed she had another man hidden in the apartment, shoved her aside, and stormed in, cursing. Luckily for her, she really was alone this time. The guy she had arranged to meet hadn't arrived yet. I listened as Cody's tone shifted from fury to a stern lecture. "Cease. Are you out of your mind? You're bringing another guy here? If that sucker Ethan finds out, we'll lose both these condos. You better be careful. You hear me? Ethan promised to buy me a car after he proposes. If he dumps you, I'll let Mom and Dad kill you." Chloe threw on a robe, her voice dripping with disdain when she mentioned my name. "What are you so afraid of? Ethan's an idiot. I know how much he loves me. If I asked him to give me one of his kidneys, he'd happily rip it out himself. Now get out of here. My friend is about to arrive." Chloe swore up and down that her friend was a woman, and she finally managed to push Cody out the door. Unfortunately for her, her friends had already arrived. It was two guys. I couldn't believe it. The woman who was supposedly terrified of getting cervical cancer from sex was pregnant, and now trying to hook up with two men at the same time. Cody couldn't believe it either. He turned around, his hand raised to slap Chloe, but then he remembered my pending proposal. He forced his hand down, shoved the two men away, and left in a rage. "Chloe, if you dare screw around again before the wedding, don't blame me for what happens." Watching the siblings' ugly fallout, I started to lose interest. I was tired of playing along with this family of vampires. After Chloe made a few more calls trying to line someone else up, I got in my car and drove to the new condo. "Honey, what are you doing here?" Chloe looked like she'd seen a ghost. I noticed she was wearing something even more revealing than what I'd seen on the camera feed. "Babe, I just called Cody, and he said you guys wouldn't be back for a few more days. What are you doing home?" I walked right in. Chloe frantically started gathering the revealing clothes scattered on the sofa. I got into a fight with him, so I came back early by myself. He probably lied to you because he was afraid you'd be mad at him." "Oh, is that right? So what's with the outfit?" I pretended to believe her, my eyes fixed on her exposed skin. "Honey, it's like this. You bought me a house and a car, and we're about to get married. I want us to be a real couple, so I bought these clothes. For you." With that, she threw herself at me. I quickly sidestepped, pulling out the $9.99 cubic zirconia ring I'd ordered from Amazon. "Babe, I was just about to propose to you. Let's wait until after you've said yes. It's not too late. I want to do this right, with a sense of ceremony." Chloe pretended to be touched, her eyes greedily fixed on the giant fake diamond. I quickly put the ring away and told her I would officially propose in 1 week, so she should get ready. Chloe coordinated with Cody, and their parents immediately began bragging to all their relatives that their daughter was marrying a millionaire who was not only giving them $1 million gift, but also buying a house and car for his future brother-in-law. For the first time, Mr. and Mrs. Miller felt like they had something to be proud of in front of their relatives. They even made a point of telling me they were inviting everyone they knew to witness Chloe's happy moment. How could I refuse their invitation to their own public execution? A week later, the bruises on Chloe's face had completely healed. My friend told me Mark Jennings was out of the hospital too. Thanks to his good behavior, his wife had loosened her watch on him a little. Like a dog returning to its vomit, Mark immediately contacted Chloe, wanting to pick up where they left off. For reasons I couldn't fathom, Chloe agreed to meet him for a secret tryst in the changing room of the hotel where the engagement party was being held. When my friend sent me Mark's location, I thought to myself, talk about the devil delivering. Today was the day I would bring these scumbags to their ruin. While Chloe was in the bathroom on the phone, I slipped into the changing room and planted several more hidden cameras, ensuring a perfect 360-degree view of their activities would be broadcast onto the main screen in the hotel ballroom. After setting everything up, I quietly left and sent a text to Mark's wife from a burner number. With everything in place, I walked into the ballroom feeling refreshed. As soon as Chloe's mother saw me, she tried to assert her authority as my future mother-in-law, demanding that I buy another house for her and her husband after the engagement. With all their relatives watching, I didn't hesitate to agree with a broad smile. Of course, ma'am. I won't just buy you a house. I'll get a car for your husband, too. He can take you on a road trip across the country. You've worked hard your whole lives. It's time for you to relax and enjoy. My answers silenced the room. The relatives looked at Chloe's mother with a mixture of envy and jealousy. In that moment, her vanity was satisfied beyond her wildest dreams. I straightened my suit, took the microphone, and cleared my throat. Friends and family, thank you for being here today as I, Ethan Carter, asked for the beautiful Ms. Chloe Miller's hand in marriage. I'm grateful you could all be here to witness this happy moment. I prepared something special for this proposal, a video of our journey together. Chloe is just getting changed, so in the meantime, please enjoy. Mark Jennings, you son of a bitch, get your ass out here. Just as I was about to start the video, an unwelcome group of people stormed into the ballroom. Cody's face pale when he saw who it was. He immediately tried to drag Mark's wife out of the room, but she had brought a few burly men with her this time. They lifted Cody up like he was a child and set him aside. Who do you people think you are? Barging in like this? This is a private proposal. Get out, or I'm calling the police. Chloe's mother tried to sound authoritative, but they completely ignored her. I don't care if you're getting engaged or married. Get Mark Jennings and that slut Chloe out here. That bitch seduced my husband and is carrying his bastard child. I want to see the face of this shameless homewrecker who has the nerve to send me taunting messages after everything she's done. You dare insult my daughter? I'll rip your mouth off. Chloe's mother, seeing the woman defaming her daughter, lunged forward and started fighting with Mark's wife. She wasn't defending Chloe's honor. She was protecting her investment in me, the golden goose. Ethan, don't listen to this crazy woman. She's obviously mentally ill. Cody rushed to my side to defend his sister. I patted his shoulder. Cody, of course I believe your sister. Chloe is the purest flower. We've been together this long, and we've only ever held hands. She would never do something like that. I didn't miss the twitch at the corner of Cody's mouth. The higher I built Chloe up now, the harder she would fall. By now, Chloe and Mark were probably getting hot and heavy in the changing room. Time to add a little fuel to the fire. I gave my friend a subtle nod. He pressed a button on a remote control, and the massive screen behind me flickered to life. The sound of moans and grunts filled the ballroom. I spun around, feigning shock. On the screen, Chloe's white dress was hiked up, her legs wrapped tightly around Mark Jennings as she spewed a stream of filth that would make a sailor blush. Mark's wife and Chloe's mother stopped fighting. Mrs. Miller stared blankly at the screen before letting out a piercing shriek. That whore, that little tramp, drag her out here. I had to hand it to the guys Mark's wife brought. When they stormed the changing room and dragged the two of them out, they made sure Mark couldn't pull out. They were hauled into the middle of the ballroom, still physically connected, naked from the waist down. Ethan, honey, listen to me. When Chloe finally looked up, her eyes met my own, which were red with fake tears. At that moment, I was the perfect picture of a poor, heartbroken man who had been cheated on. All I had to do was stand aside and look devastated. Mark's wife would do the rest. She didn't disappoint. She lunged at Mark, scratching and clawing at him. Pinned on top of Chloe, Mark couldn't escape and could only scream for mercy. Honey, listen to me. She seduced me. I swear I'll never do it again. Trapped beneath him, Chloe instinctively covered her stomach and shrieked. But it was too late. I could see blood trickling down her legs. The chaos lasted for over half an hour. Someone must have called the police, because just as they arrived to take everyone away, people noticed that Chloe's face was chalk white, and she was lying in a pool of her own blood. Chloe was rushed to the hospital. After I explained the situation at the station, they let me go. After all, I hadn't laid a hand on anyone. I was the biggest victim in this whole mess. The cops looked at me with pity in their eyes. When I got home, my phone started ringing off the hook with calls from Chloe. On the 18th call, I finally answered. Her broken sobs came through the speaker. Honey, it's not what you think. It was Mark, that animal. He forced me. I was afraid you'd leave me if you found out, so I kept it secret. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. Give me one more chance, please. In the 3 years we were together, I had never made Chloe cry, but she had willingly degraded herself and repeatedly treated me like an idiot. She and Mark had been fooling around since their time at the company together, to pull that I was a salted car now. She really must have thought my brain was so clouded by love that I believe any lie she told. Chloe, ask yourself honestly, in these 3 years, have I ever done a single thing to wrong you? I put you on a pedestal, but what did you do to me? You gave me one hell of a surprise. You wouldn't let me touch you, but you went and got pregnant with another man's child. You've been playing me for a fool this whole time. We're done. Don't ever call me again. Ignoring her hysterical screams, I hung up and went to dismantle the hidden cameras. I thought that after such a humiliating public ordeal, her family would be too ashamed to ever show their faces to me again. I underestimated their shamelessness. The next morning, as I was leaving for work, Chloe's mother appeared out of nowhere and threw herself on her knees in front of my car. Ethan, Chloe had a miscarriage. Her body is broken. You can't leave her now. Her vague, loud wailing immediately drew suspicious glances from my neighbors. A flicker of triumph crossed her face as she continued her performance. You disappeared right after the engagement party. Chloe calls you, but you won't answer. My poor daughter has cried herself blind. Ethan, I'm begging you, please go see her. She gave you 3 years of her life. She made no mention of her daughter being caught cheating at her own engagement party, only framing it as me abandoning her. She truly looked like a desperate mother who cared only for her daughter's well-being. What's wrong with this guy? He sleeps with a girl for 3 years, and then dumps her right after the engagement. Yeah, he looks so clean-cut and respectable, but he's a total scumbag. Ma'am, you shouldn't beg him. A man like that is no good for your daughter. Hearing people take her side, Chloe's mother cried even louder. I don't want to force him, but Chloe doesn't want anyone but you. Ethan, please, just for my sake, go see her one more time. As the crowd grew, I got out of my car, helped her up, my own eyes welling with tears, and spoke in a choked voice. Ma'am, for 3 years, I never let Chloe work a single day. I never let her do a single chore. I gave her everything she ever wanted. I bought her a house and a car, both in her name. When she asked me to buy a house for her brother, I agreed. When you asked me to buy another house for you and her husband, I agreed. She told me her cousin died of cervical cancer and she was afraid of getting sick, so she never let me touch her. I understood, and I respected her. You all know how much I loved her. But I cannot accept her cheating on me in a changing room during our engagement party and carrying another man's child. My tearful monologue did the trick. The crowd fell silent. Wait, did I hear that right? He had to buy a house for his brother-in-law and his in-laws too? Is he marrying her or adopting her entire family? This woman is what they call a gold digger's mother. Don't insult gold diggers. At least they're usually loyal. This girl was cheating at her own engagement party. Looks like they just saw the guy as a meal ticket. How shameless to raise a daughter like that and still have the nerve to cause a scene. Seeing the tide turn against her, Chloe's mother's face went pale. She scrambled to her feet and scurried away. I thanked the people who had spoken up for me. Her visit had made one thing clear. A month had passed. The mortgage payments were due. Chloe had been living off me for 3 years, and any money she had was quickly snatched up by Cody. Cody was a human garbage disposal for cash and had no savings. After the public humiliation, her parents couldn't borrow a dime from their relatives. Their choices were to sell the house and car at a loss, or to default on the loans, have the bank repossess the properties, and have her credit scores ruined for life. Sure enough, not long after her mother left, Chloe called me again. Honey, the mortgage is due today. Don't forget. Her tone was so matter-of-fact, so entitled. Did she really think that by ignoring what she did, everything would just go back to normal? Chloe, are you insane? Why are you telling me the mortgage is due? My response clearly caught her off guard. She was about to lose her temper, but remembering she needed something from me, she softened her voice. Honey, when we bought the houses, you said you would make the payments for me and Cody. First of all, Chloe, we are broken up. Don't call me honey. Second, it's not my responsibility to pay the mortgage on your and Cody's properties. You'd better stop harassing me, or I will take legal action to recover every cent I spent on you and your family over the last 3 years. And I mean it. Chloe didn't call again, but my friend kept tabs on her family situation. Unable to make the payments, Chloe went to Mark Jennings for money, but he just cursed her out and threw her out of his house. Cody, blaming Mark for the loss of his condo and his lavish lifestyle, was consumed by rage. He followed Chloe and, when Mark wasn't looking, pulled out a knife and stabbed him repeatedly. Mark died on the spot. Cody fled back home, intending to kill Chloe too, but she hadn't returned yet. In his bloodlust, Cody stabbed and killed his own mother. His father was critically injured. As Cody tried to escape again, he was cornered by the police at his front door. The bank repossessed Chloe's house and car. With no money for proper medical care, she and her injured father had to move back to their old, cramped apartment. Her father blamed Chloe for everything that had happened. One night, while she was sleeping, he managed to heat a pot of oil and pour it over her. Because he was weak and unsteady, most of the oil splashed on her face and shoulders. Chloe awoke to an excruciating, searing pain, not understanding what was happening. When she ran out of the apartment with her face a melted ruin, she accidentally bumped into her father. He fell, hit his head on the corner of a table, and was dead by the time anyone found him. A kind neighbor called 911. Chloe's life was saved, but her face was permanently destroyed. In the end, she couldn't live with her reflection. She jumped from the roof of the hospital. Hearing the final outcome, I didn't know what to feel. Love, hate. All of it seemed to vanish with her death. Wasn't that a little too harsh? My friend asked, his voice heavy. I just told him, calmly, that if I had actually married Chloe, I probably would have met with an accident soon after. Thinking about her and Mark's plan, I didn't feel like I'd done anything wrong. People have to pay for their mistakes, don't they?